What's up, Zox fam? Now, a lot of you guys have been asking on the videos about leveling, EXP, farming, and all of the things necessary with making your unit stronger. Now, I wanted to get into what exactly I do personally, kind of giving you guys some sort of outline that you can take, you can tweak, and turn into something that fits what works best for you. Now, I want to jump right into it, and I want to kind of give a disclaimer first starting out. I really honestly feel like the point at which you really should be farming as far as trying to level up stuff is once you've already kind of gone through the process of getting through chapter 2. I think that is then when you are going to be trying to push up. The first initial push is going to be getting your characters maxed out to 40. And then from there, you're going to be trying to go and challenge the fractal vice so that you can then get that level cap up to 50. Now, just to kind of paint a perspective here, I'm currently utilizing a team right now where I am farming and I'm leveling my Simba and I'm leveling my Sinju, and I'm using my Miyu as my carry unit. Now, the thing is that I would argue up until the point of you getting level 50 units, I think it's really important to focus your very first team the most, so that you can just finish them. And then from there, you should have a solidified carry unit to helping you with leveling up your other characters. Now, some people might ask, why are we leveling up other characters? Obviously, there is a game mode in the game called XB. And with that, that's going to require you to have some investment into some of your other characters. So it is going to be important that you have a system or routine just in general, because either way, you're going to be wanting to rank up, obviously, your main team, but then there also might be some characters that you might want to utilize for that, and ranking them up actually does affect their abilities in modes like XB, which we do have a ranked and a whole thing going on with the multiplayer with that coming up real soon, right? So again, just noting that. But like I said, I'm using a carry, Miyu, bringing two units that need to be leveled. Now, from there, I want to go into another resource that I think is really important here. So let's actually go over to the craft, right? Now, this resource is also another key component. And at this point, you have to go to the NPC that gives you recipes. And you want to make sure that as you're completing different things, you're basically going and checking in regularly. I will say by time, a lot of the times you get these recipes, they're not going to be necessary for your main team. It's going to be necessary for when you're trying to level up other characters organically. So these resources are going to be, or the craft items are going to be tuna sushi, and then also the mussel lunch. The tuna sushi is usable from level 15 or up until level 15, and is effective until the 10th battle ends. So you basically get 10 battles out of this, right? Now, you also have the mussel lunch, where the mussel lunch is also going to be something that you will utilize after you hit the cap of 15, and it'll be something that will be effective until level 30. So these two things will come around that point, and at that point, like I said, your main team is already probably going to be at those levels, so you won't be using it for your main team, but it will allow you later on to be able to farm up and get other characters up much quicker, versus when you initially grinded through the game. Now, one of the ways that I would say is probably the better way of you going through the game to level specifically is you just simply fighting, right? Now, obviously, there's then the task or the idea of what should I be fighting, like, right? Because here's the dilemma, right? If we actually go and we hit start here and we go over to our character, and we go over to, let's say, any fresh character here, right? So let's go with Sinju. You technically can obtain EXP, and another question I guess I can answer here is, how do you get this EXP? This EXP comes from chest, just from playing the game simply. You can get them in higher quantities, I would say, or higher concentrated quantities from rifts. So these are obtainable literally almost everywhere in the game. The problem is, and this is one of the things that I think you guys have to be aware of, is that when you're using this EXP, it costs Kane, right? So let's just select all. Now, if I wanted to level up my Sinju from, say, level 24 to 37, that's going to cost me, with the current amount of EXP that I have, 222k, right? That could be 222k that could go into a rank, and all I have to do with the levels is just organically level the character. You can, again, do that and it doesn't cost you anything other than you just have to do a fight, versus spending your Kane, which then you have to go and refarm. Granted, this is a lot faster, and I think this is something you take advantage of when you have a character that you don't really have time to level, and you just kind of boost them all the way up. And then you have the Kane to spare, bada boom, bada bang. But I feel like because everybody is going through the process of trying to rank, it's not really something I would advise, especially because it's not that hard to organically just level the characters and just from there, just kind of push them and then be done with it, right? Now, of course, with that again is an option, but like I said, don't think you should do it. But outside of that, when you're actually looking at utilizing that EXP buff, I actually have right now the muscle lunch on. So I'm going to show you guys how you can go about actually grouping units. And this is a way to kind of manipulate the buff a little bit, because it says that it's effective for for 10 battles. But let me show you guys something. So this is going to be a way for you to kind of take advantage. Let me get these guys' attention. All right, let's get these guys' attention. Let's loop them all around. And then boom, I want all those guys. Now this might seem crazy, but I can solo these guys. So hold on, give me a sec. Let me lock in real quick, all right? So we're basically challenging all these guys at once because we're going to be able to get a huge chunk of EXP from doing it this way, right? All right, so next enemies are here. Yeah, so we're going to be able to get a huge chunk of EXP this way. And these guys are super low level. So for my carry unit, I'm not even using her ult. I'm just using her primary. But you can literally do this with Semba too. You can do it with Q. You can do it with any DPS really, if you want. I mean, Semba's probably even better for some people because she also can heal. So I got to be a little bit more careful with Miyu. Now I think there's a couple more waves here. Ooh, nice. Semba is kind of low-key holding it down. She's only like level 24. All right, here we go. Yeah, I don't want to deal with this guy, so he can go. All right, there we go. Now, we're going to finish that fight. And the luxury of doing it that way, we got 4,780 EXP. That only counts as one fight, right? So that's a way that you're going to be manipulating how you use EXP, right? Or how you gain EXP. Because if I would have fought those each one by one, it actually would have taken my muscle lunch entries or my, I guess like it would have counted as individually one. But because I took on all those enemies at one time, it basically gave me all those fights and then it multiplied everything for every single wave that I did. Right? So that's something that is a way for you to kind of manipulate that so that you're not wasting, I guess, if you want to say you want to be efficient, that's like one of the best ways of being efficient, right? Now, again, that's something that does require you to be a little bit more manual or hands-on while going through some of these fights. I know some people are just going to want to like kind of sneak attack the enemies to start out with high tension, but that would require you to be doing the fights one by one. If at any point they change that, I obviously will update this video because then that would be super insane for farming. But right now, it would be in your best interest if you want to speed it up. If you're just going around the map and trying to kill regular mobs and getting EXP from them, grabbing a whole bunch of them and fighting a whole bunch of them at once actually would be in your best interest. That would actually make it the fastest and it would be the most efficient to the food that you are utilizing for the EXP boost, basically, right? So that's number one. That's number one for basically just leveling. Now, again, I want to take a look at the map real quick so you guys can see this. You could technically get more EXP from doing other things. I would say as far as some of the better ways for you to get huger or higher quantities of EXP, it does require you to obviously do a little bit more fighting. But if you're at this point where you're able to kind of carry, it shouldn't be too rough. You have like the mid bosses that are kind of floating around. They give you really good chunks of EXP. You got to farm them anyway. So that's another way for you to get really good EXP. Another concentrated way, and this is a way that I also feel like also coincides with chest. And this is also kind of like for resources and like getting EXP and all that stuff. The rifts. I mean, the rifts are huge. So ignoring the rifts, I feel like, again, there's a lot of people that's like, there has to be some other way to do it better. No, like the rifts are insane. The rifts can also give you boosters while you're in the rift, right? So that's something that you really want to make sure you're taking advantage of, burning down your boosters, and then from there, going and exploring and leveling and fighting whatever you can in the overworld. Now, I also want to talk about a point or a place that I really like to come to. And there's probably a couple of others, but I really like this place because of the simple fact that it has a high quantity of chests that are of high value. Now, the thing is that this is also going to be a huge part of your Kane farming. So all of these resources, like long story short, you're going to be farming are going to be helping you with ranking up. So from Kane to resources for ranking up, this is all intertwined together, right? Now, when we go back real quick, just to kind of show you guys where we're at, this is actually the temple. So I could actually show it on the map real quick. This is called the Shiba Temple. This is in chapter 2, of course. This is actually one of my favorite places to come, just to kind of like run through it real quick for chests. I feel like it has really good chests here. There's also one other area I'm gonna show you guys. So let's say, like you can see right here, there's 2 chests down there. But if we run up to one of the main portions, you see like right here, there's 2 chests. And those are like the higher value chests. These are some chests right here. And usually, you know, you want to obviously wait till those reset and then come and open them. Well, let me collect that real quick since we're here. Grab my daily. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if we run over here as well, there should be some more chests like right here. So when you first walk in, luxurious chests, there's some valuable chests. So this place just has those high value chests. Like that's literally all it has. And that's one reason why I like actually coming here, because you, especially once the chest reset, that's what you're getting, right? Like you're not going to see like some rinky-dink, like regular stuff. Like see right here in this little corner right here. So this is a nice little pocket. And this is also a clustered area where the enemies are actually grouped up together for you to be able to kind of like, say, for example, take on multiples at once, right? So as you can see, like right here, I can kind of run them into this enemy right here, and I would be able to take on a ton of people, right? So this right here is just kind of like a rotation that you can like take advantage of that has, like I said, just really, really good chests. And when they fully reset, they're just in abundance, right? So it's nice that chests can reset as well, because that's something else you could take advantage of. Now, I think there's one more set of chests right here. So we got our regular, we got a luxurious, and then we got another regular. And keep in mind that for every luxurious chest, or even, I guess like kind of the blue chest that you open, that's anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 Kane per chest. So that's a lot of resources, right? So I know, like, again, people were asking about like leveling and all of that stuff, but these are the things that you're also going to be doing in conjunction to that. So that's what I just kind of wanted to show you. Now, another area that I really like too, and between these 2 areas, I run through these areas between like teleporting specifically to the mid bosses, and then teleporting to these 2 areas. I also really like the mid towns, because the mid towns, you kind of go through there. There's actually one of the best dailies in the game is here too. So I always pick this daily, and then I actually will run all the way to the back, and in the back there's like 4 or 5 luxurious chests just in the back. So that's right off rip, like a few thousand, you know, Kane that you can get from that, as well as some extra resources. So this is also with the Chaos Midtown, going all the way back here is actually really, really solid, right? Now, to kind of give you guys the formula or the format really quick, just to sum this all up, what I would advise you to do is typically, obviously, burn your boosters first, okay? You can learn and you can earn a lot of EXP doing that. It's also going to be essential resource-wise. So you're just gonna navigate and find what's best for you. You can also coincide this with your stickers or your marks quests, so that you're able to finish off some of those. It actually requires you to finish or fight some of these up to 5 times. So that's what you wanna do, right? Burning your boosters is number 1. I think that that's the most important thing, and it's gonna equal out to a ton of EXP, right? Now from there is second, going and exploring. That's going to be the next component to you leveling, finding a place where you're able to kind of group up a lot of enemies. Everywhere is basically a place you can go to basically do things, because it's also in conjunction to the resources that you're finding. Obviously, if you're looking for more EXP, you have to go to areas with higher level characters. If you are trying to level in a low level place, they actually implemented the kind of like EXP parameter, where if the units are too low in level, they don't gain any EXP really. So because I'm leveling lower level characters, it's giving me some EXP value to them. But once they hit a certain threshold, if those enemies in that area are not near the level of my characters, then they don't really gain much EXP. So this is why I think still your best bet is still going to be running through rifts. still challenging the mid bosses on the map. And of course, one of the places that you technically can get the most EXP from fighting is the Fractal Vice. Now that is a little bit of a harder challenge. I definitely will say that you aren't necessarily just going to be running in there with one solo carry. But if you somehow want to go and do it, that's also a place that you can go. But I really wouldn't recommend it. I don't think that that's really advisable, like, to be honest. Now, outside of that, guys, that's basically your loop, right? So you want to, once you run out of boosters, you go farm chests, you go level your characters some more in the open world. You're going to run into some of the mid bosses. And one thing I actually did forget to mention here too is it's not just the mid bosses that give you EXP too. It's also the chapter bosses. The chapter bosses also give you a good quantity. They actually give you more EXP. I would say in one go comparatively to the mid bosses. It's just that the mid bosses can technically be farmed faster. So I guess it's kind of like pick your poison there. I think the other thing to also consider is that the chapter bosses also drop potentially have the chance of dropping their card, but they also are going to be giving you the resource that you can utilize for trade and for ranking up. So all the resources that you're basically aiming for here are really important, right? I really honestly cannot emphasize enough that everything you're doing is really important, but it does require some legwork. Now, the other method too, and this is like more so on the note of farming, this is if you are utilizing a full send team. For anyone that missed this update, this is really important. So if we go to my party here, and we go to manage party. Now I have my full level 50 team. I'm going to deploy that team real quick, right? Now, what's important to note is that now there's basically a level gap between me and my opponents, right? So let's actually teleport to another area to reset the characters or the enemies. And let's go over, I think this is usually a pretty solid area to go to. So I'll show you guys, right? So for those of you guys that missed this or just aren't at that point yet, also side note, this is where you guys get the recipes. I know somebody's gonna ask, where do you get the recipes? Birero is where you get it, right? So he's gonna have all the recipes on him. Now, if we go and let's go find a regular enemy to just slap real quick. Now they can insta die, right? That was a big part of this update. So if you are like still in reroll hell and you haven't even gotten to the point of even playing the game, you probably have missed this, right? So let's see if there's any enemies in the street. Like, where are they all at? Are they that scared of me? Are they that scared of me? Okay, here we go. So like these guys are gonna run, right? So any enemy, and this is usually your indicator that any enemy that will run from you is basically an enemy that you can just one tap, right? So look at that. Boom, I get the resource, I can keep it moving. Boom, I get the resource, I can keep it moving. So if you are not trying to farm EXP, the best thing that you can do is actually running your full squad. Once you have a team where then the team no longer has a, I would say that scare factor or dominance, that can literally shift if you swap one lower rank unit into the team comp. It has to be a team that all equally has that dominance over the enemies in that area in order for you to make sure that you're able to one tap them. So if you're specifically just trying to run around and get extra resources really, really fast, this is the way that you do it, right? This is the way that you do it. So you just go, you find whoever it is you want, boom, one tap. Boom, one tap, right? That's how you do it, okay? Very, very simple. Oh, we actually got a strange ledger to drop. That's rare. Okay, so either way, guys, that's basically what you do, right? It's very, very simple. There are no cheat codes. There's very, very, very few ways of going outside of this. I mean, this is just how the game is played. The more that you do, the more that you get out. It's basically what it is, right? So this video has been long enough. I appreciate you guys for watching all the way up until this point. I hope that this was able to give you some advice on ways that you can level. Again, like I said, guys, just to save yourself some time, some costs, definitely avoid using the EXP itself. Leveling organically is going to be one of the better things to do, and grouping them is going to be much faster than trying to sneak attack everything one by one, right? So I hope that this was able to give you guys some insight, help you out a little bit, but that's going to be that, guys. Everyone, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.